Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hello. So I originally wanted to purchase from Honest Beauty, which is Jessica Alba's makeup and skincare line. I was really excited to actually get my hands on this mascara that she's been raving about, and other than her team, her fans I guess have also been pretty excited about the manufacturing of it. And okay, one side is a prep or a primer. The other side is of course your mascara, which is a really good mascara. So I wanted to purchase it, but it was out of stock. That's fine, I can purchase something else whilst I wait for it. Came across some tinted lip balms that she has, so the price was pretty decent and I went to purchase. Doesn't ship to Australia. Fantastic. So plan B was to officially go through with, I was meant to get this around Christmas time, 2018's Christmas time. I managed to get my mum and my sister and myself Domonique Cosmetics Berries and Cream eyeshadow palette, which is only fitting I will be using that in this video. Once Christmas was finally over, we're obviously midway through the new year, duh. So I decided to, for plan B, finally get my hands on her lip shades, her cream liquid lips. So there are 4 shades in here, and this is what it looks like. Obviously I've taken it out of the delivery package. The only other part that I did was just lift up this lid, just to see the interior of it. So this is so far what the box looks like. And that's just basically her handles on the inside. And of course this is what the surface of it looks like. Black with gold imprinting, obviously DC, not the superhero DC. Domonique Cosmetics of course. So I will be playing around with the lip shades last. I will obviously first be fitting a face on. So I'll just pretty much time lapse that part, and then we can get on with the first impressions of the lipsticks. I keep going to say lip glosses. No, these are lipsticks. Okay, now that we're all up to speed, time to first impression these lipsticks. Starting up with the first one, and this foam part, or the velvet part that holds these in, has quite a good grip. Definitely love the sleek black packaging. So the first shade is a red tone one called Heartbeat. It's also quite the mission to get it open. Okay, so I'll just open it up from the other end. Okay, it comes in like a glass velvetish type of packaging, and I love this packaging. I'm just going to zoom out of fraction. So I love this packaging. Time to put the shade test into good use. I'm going to rather bench doe foot. It's very similar to, I think, possibly Khloe Kardashian's doe foots, I think. But the colour is absolutely stunning, so shut up, I'm going to put it on. It is a beautiful cherry red. It smells cupcakey as well. That sigh of a high scared the crap out of me. So the colour does feel rather thick. Not the colour. The what do you call it? The formula feels rather thick. So it's not quite as opaque as the bottom, but almost the colour does go a long way. It's feeling a lot more dried out now that I'm working on this side. Even when I've flipped it over, it's still the same. Okay, so smacking my lips together a little bit. That's nice and close. It has sort of like glitter from here. Either I didn't put enough there from what I thought I did, or I definitely can't blame it on lip piercing anymore. I've obviously kept that out. So it's pretty difficult to get into doe foot, and a little bit of extra challenge to get it back out. As you can probably see, I will be boosting the lighting up slightly in the actual editor because I don't quite have access to my ring light. As you can see, the colour is rather patchy to itself. I got it directly from the Domonique Cosmetics website. In fact, where some of the colours still seem a bit chunky, it kind of looks like I've done an ombre trick. It does feel a bit sticky, kind of like typical lipstick, liquid sticky. Can't speak English. So first impressions wise, it's like a bit chunky. It is a beautiful red, and I'm not dragging Domonique Cosmetics through the mud. I'm not even dragging Kristen herself through the mud. Her products really have not disappointed so far me, but there may be some colours that some people aren't a fan of, and that is totally fine. She obviously can't appease everybody. I think she has 1 million followers. I'll obviously double check that one depending on their social media platform. These lipsticks, they're meant to be like cream lipsticks, liquid lipsticks going into a matte finish once they're on and they're settled. So far this product feels very thick and almost like it instantly grips the lips. It does still feel not tacky, but I want to use the word tacky, not the lame tacky, the residue tacky. Like a tiniest amount does come off, but your partner shouldn't care too much. If he wipes his mouth, or her wipes her mouth off, you're gonna get like the tiniest little bit of a shading left, but lips do feel sticky. It does look rather patchy. And in here, it kind of looks like I've done like an ombre trick. It wasn't so easy to get a lot of product to spread around with a few veil swoops. This was the first shade, which was Heartbeat. A beautiful deep vampy red shade. The product itself is formula, I should say. It's very thick. I'm trying to think of like a bunch of words I could use to describe the movement of it. The doe foot was a bit difficult to get in and out of the tube. Whether or not you have a lot of arm strength, it still was quite a challenge to put it away, but let me just show you again. Come on, hop out. So it's a bit of a challenge just to twist the lid, but there's quite a little bit of effort to get it in and out of the tube. So I will obviously be playing around with the other three. I won't, judge this too much straight off the bat until I've gotten through the others, because the others might be slightly a bit different. I mean, other Kylie ones were a little bit different depending on the shade and depending on which range. I've only got her first few mega sold out ones. With this one, the lipstick was quite thick to move around the lips. Not as opaque the more you got around to the rest of your lips. You do have to probably go in about once or twice. Depends on what you're using the lipstick for, because you can of course mix shades and add ombre effects and or darken something up for just a little bit of a tint, whether you want to go lighter or darker with something from what you're already wearing. Lipstick can be crazy versatile and be so flexible as far as what you do with it, but as for spreading the whole thing around evenly, you don't get quite the even consistency as you saw. I had to go in the tube a few times. I had to go in the tube, bit of a tight fit. Anyway, so I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm just going to wash my lips off first. I'll be right back. Tempting to start removing it, and that is even an effort in itself, so... Okay, next one up is Babe. It's a bit of a nude tone. Open up by the label lid. Again, a bit of an effort to get out of the box. This is definitely a very beautiful plush baby pink. Hopefully you can see that. Same doe foot, not as effort. Oh, it's a little bit more effort once again. Once again, has a cupcakey scent. Not the same as Kylie Cosmetics, but similar. It's definitely like very soft peachy-ish tone. Okay, so I only went in with 2 dunks this time, overall anyway. So if your lips, it's gonna sound so odd to say, but if your lips are a little bit darker by say European nationality or even Asian, maybe Indian, maybe Filipino, like essentially just darker shaded lips compared to mine, this will sit a lot lighter on you because it's obviously working against the skin tone. But on my part, finally a nude shade that gives me So Pretty vibes, the nude shade, but when I put that on from Too Faced Melt and Matte range, it looked like I was putting concealer on my lips. Finally this, not as tacky either, as in the residue type tacky, not the lame, boring tacky. There's no misconception, I can't even pronounce the word. But there is still a minor amount of tackiness there, but not as bad as the other one, sort of. Once again, the formula was, because it's such a light shade, you don't have to fight so much to get the whole line of it or the application so even, because it's already pretty close to a nude lip tone anyway, as far as your own lips go. If you're around about the same skin tone as me, some peachy undertones, but for the most part olive skin tone and fair skinned. The tackiness is still there. I didn't have to bother too much about the, I keep looking at myself in the viewfinder. I'm keeping an eye on whether or not I'm recording and my battery, of course. I'm not narcissistic or vainful. So there's once again no misconception. Tackiness is still there. I'm pretty sure you can powder your lips down just to get rid of that, if it bothers you that much, of course. As for me, okay, this time without the text on the screen. I absolutely love the colour. It's a very peachy type tone that everybody was raving about after Kylie did her peachy look, and well, I of course recreated her makeup as well as hairstyle, and soon after so did everybody else, not because of my influence, but because who hadn't? Damn you, train. Can't wait till the day we're living away from a train station. Who hadn't seen Kylie's photo back then with the peachy look? Anyway, tackiness is still there, but you don't need to let it bother you unless you powder your lips down, of course. Application wise, you don't have to fight so hard to get everything even and consistent because it's a nude shade. It's just meant to, you know, even out your lip shape, I guess, and just give it a little something there to complete the whole makeup look. But the colour is absolutely amazing. It goes well with my skin tone, so if you are of similar skin tone, then this will work well with you as well, depending on the other parts of your makeup look, of course. But with nude shades, you can obviously never go wrong. Yeah, so I really like this one as far as, like I just keep saying, and like I just said, when it comes to nude shades, you don't have to fight so hard to get it looking perfect. With darker shades, because it's obviously more bold, you have to figure out a way to get it very consistent and even, otherwise people will pick up on it. But when it comes to nude shades, it doesn't matter so much because it's already close to your lip shade as is. Again, if your lips are a little bit darker in shade by natural skin tone, then it will show up a bit more on you. But for lip tones like mine, almost pigmented-less, it shows up and just sits comfortably on the lips as far as the opacity of colour and undertone goes. Not too overwhelming. It is so beautiful. It sits so nice on the lips as well. It's giving me like a peachy version of the Locally vibes from XO Beauty, if you have that shade, of course. So slightly better on the impression of Babe, which is a plushy pink, dusty pink nude shade. Yeah, I like this one a lot. And you can of course use this shade to, you know, wear on a day-to-day basis. Work, probably not school, unless schools in America are less strict with makeup wear, but schools in Australia, oh, don't even get me started on the school that my sister went to and that her best friend still goes to, or just finished at her 12th year. I can't remember that part, but they come down on you. From the reports that I've heard, the staff, they crack down, because it's an all-girls school, they crack down on their students like Nazis. A few girls in the 12th year, I think maybe the 10th year, as in year 10, some of them had decided to get lash extensions and probably kept it decently natural looking just to, you know, enhance their own lashes a little bit. That's obviously what lash extensions do. Teachers either overheard talk and figured it out, or it stood out to them like a sore thumb. Either way, they decided to force the students to remove their lashes by using cleaning products. Cleaning products that you specifically use to wipe down a table. As you could probably imagine, these students' eyes were very irritated, swollen, and there are obviously chemicals that you could use to soften up the adhesive on the lash to get them to remove instantly, but cleaning products isn't the way to go. And this not only was Not only did my sister's best friend tell her about that, but it also made it into an Aussie worldwide known newspaper. I think it made it into the Herald Sun. So if you're Australian, you're familiar with the newspaper. Yeah, my sister's former school has not got the best reputation anymore. I don't know how I got onto that, but I definitely love this shade. It is definitely a very, very, very wearable shade. I love the wear of it. The formula was slightly easier to use, but still dried out. There isn't that much tackiness, but there is a little bit there still. The way you can avoid it is not let yourself be bothered by it or powder your lips down. Anyway, so I like this shade a lot. Definitely very wearable. I didn't have to fight to get it even, like with the last shade. Let's move on to the next shade. Also, kiss test on myself. Absolutely nothing. So you can happily make out with your partner or whatever the circumstances is, and not have to worry about transferring. So men, you're safe. Women, if you don't quite do the lipstick thing in a relationship, you don't have to worry about this getting onto yourself. So it was still once again an effort to get off. I'm going to go in with a Love Drop, which I presume is another red. Okay, orange tone red. I feel a lot more fuchsia or magenta. I completely keep getting those two mixed up. Let's give this one a whirl, though. Oh, this formula is so much easier to spread. Spoke a bit too soon. The dough does still start to dry out. And it wouldn't matter if we went to the other side because I already tried that trick. Okay, this side is sitting just a little bit pointed up, but whatever. Just first impressioning the formula of it, not so much of the shape of it. It's definitely far easier to spread around for the most part. Definitely a lot more red undertones, like I thought so. In the tube, it does look like it has quite the fuchsia or magenta. Pretty sure magenta is more purple toned and fuchsia is more on the pink tone. God damn. So it's definitely a lot more on the fuchsia side. Still stuck with crazy amount of tackiness. Like my lips become one after that. Colour is still definitely beautiful. It was super easy to maneuver around the bottom lip. Didn't quite get as much opacity on the top half as I would have liked to. I had to go back in for a second dunk once again just to fill in this part of my lip. Other than that extra effort, colour is still so beautiful. The application, it goes on so far until the dough starts to dry out and lose pigment or lose the formula, and then you most likely have to dunk in again. The tacking and the drying speed definitely reminds me a lot of Too Faced Melt and Matte ranges. You have to work super quickly with those because they set so quickly. The cream lipsticks, from what I figured, when you first put them on, they start off very, very creamy to begin with, and then as time goes on and the air dries it down, you're obviously then finally down to that tacky, down to the matte finish where it's no longer creamy and smooth-ish. It feels a lot more powdered down, etc. The tacking is definitely there. Oh, why do I keep saying that? I've said the obvious by now. Colour is beautiful. Formula was rather a bit easy to get through until up to this lip here. I had to go in for a second dunk. Besides that, once again, it depends on how much time you have left over once you're finally around to your mouth part of your makeup routine. If you want to go through the effort of having to dunk so many times over to get a good amount out and making the extra effort that the lines are looking good too. Some people might just even go in with one shade but then use these just to like a tint or something. So far the darkest shade, they're all pretty tacky as far as the residue goes, the finish. I do have one more to go. It's just an effort to also put it back in the box. Finally. Love the shade. The tackiness isn't that big of a bother to me because I'm so low maintenance. I don't have that big of a care factor. The products are vaguely easy to maneuver around the lips almost evenly. You do have a very, very fast drying time from what I've gathered. I wouldn't have gotten stuck with a dodgy batch. I got it straight from the Domonique Cosmetics website, so it's not like I bought it from another company helping the company out and got stuck with a shitty version. So I've got one more shade to play around with. So far There is fast drying time when there shouldn't be that fast drying time. It's a cream liquid lip. It's supposed to have that creamy beginning and probably a few seconds or a minute later then be down to the matte finish. I'm instantly getting the matte finish but before I've even finished my lips off. So if you are bothered by the tacking, if you've gotten stuck with the same thing, of course, powder your lips down if you need to. Or if you're not bothered by it at all. So yeah, another baby wipe. Yes, I've been using baby wipes this whole time. Once again, quite the effort just to remove that. Last but no means least, Nude Kiss, which I presume is another nude. It's a bit more orange toned though. So that's what it looks like in the tube. So it reminds me so much of Hunty from Jeffree Star. And the formula is very easy to move. And you see other rooms of my lips are irritated from that wiping. It's not going to help much with the shade. The formula is definitely very easy to move around, even though yes, I dunked it way too soon, got carried away. So once again, there's this very faint cupcakey smell. Cool. This is water. Need water. I don't remember what I was saying just before, but I managed to choke the thought out of myself. Tackiness is still there. This formula was definitely far easier to spread around more evenly, even though I did end up going in with a second dunk a bit too soon. I got a bit too carried away. The tackiness kind of sucks the fun out of it all. I'm not too crazy excited about this particular shade, but if you absolutely love it, then power to you, of course, but I'm just not that big a fan of it. Definitely prefer Babe a lot more. It was a lot more pink tone. This is a lot more brownish tones, I guess. It reminds me so much of Hunty from Jeffree Star. That's packed up away in my makeup box, and my mum decided to move some more of those boxes, so I have no idea where the box is. I wouldn't be able to show you a swatch if I wanted to. Maybe I can figure out a way to show you the swatch to compare the shades so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. But all these lipsticks so far, for me anyway, have had this tacky finish to them, as in the residue, just in case somebody has just walked in on this video and hear me saying that. They all have a tacky, as far as residue goes, finish. They don't start off creamy for the first second or two after it touches my lips, and then goes to straight to a matte finish. I don't get to enjoy the creaminess of it. The tackiness is stuck in the fun right out of it, but I'm not overwhelmingly bothered by it. Like, I'm not gonna have a cry over it, either get over it and or powder my own lips down if I so choose to. I do believe that with cream, Jesus Christ, I do believe with cream liquid lips it's supposed to have what would feel like a lip balm for a little bit before it clearly dries down to a matte finish. That's what I presume the science behind cream liquid lips is. These aren't giving me that. I feel like I'm playing around with either Jeffree Star or Too Faced all over again. Even they don't have that much of a hanging around for too long tacky feeling. Like, I still absolutely love the shades. The shades are beautiful, definitely very wearable for anybody. Different nude tones for two different types of skin tone, or not two types of skin tones. Obviously, I'm also referring to the undertones of somebody. Like, even though I'm palish, I do have peachy olive skin next to it being pale. With other linings, I do look more tanned. My skin's a mood ring. Of course, I obviously mean the two basic skin tones: white people, Jamaicans, African Americans, plus also Europeans, Asians, etc. Not just referring to black and white, I'm also referring to undertones in skin, because that plays a huge role, especially for me. Every time I'm playing around with a nude tone, something's either too pale on me, you can't see it at all, or it is too bright and overwhelming, and my skin tone makes it stand out even more. Finally, nailing it down to Babe, which was the first nude shade, was a little bit more peachier toned. This one's a lot more mauvier toned. Tackiness is sucking the fun out of it. Shades are beautiful and very workable for different skin tones. Do get a dunk or two out of it before the doe foot officially runs out. You're gonna get to play around the doe foot as far as you can once before you have to start going back in again. For me, it was right when I got around to this part of my lip here is when the doe foot went dry and I had to dunk again a little bit. It is a bit, it's full of getting the dough foot in and out. That isn't such a big deal if you have strength in your arms. I will definitely play around with Babe a whole lot more. I'm playing around with nude tones for sure because I love that shade. When it comes to anything a lot more dramatic, I will definitely settle for a Heartbeat and or the other one was Love Drop, which was a more red, a more true red tone with orange undertone. Sorry. If you have gotten stuck with the same thing as me with this tackiness that doesn't seem to decrease. I was about to say decrease. This one not really there anymore. It feels like a typical lipstick at this point. Like clearly my lips are still becoming one, where I roll them in and test it out.